In this video, we are going to review the concepts in your Unit 4 Anchor project to help get you back some points. So let's get started. As you know, for this project, you need to create story problems that match the numbers that you are given, and we have given sample stories to help you on this other tab here. All right, so slide 1, create a story problem for 6 divided by 1/3, then show or explain how to solve. As you see here, we have a whole number divided by a fraction. So from my sample stories, I'm going to choose from the whole number by a fraction. Let's do this third one here. You are walking so many miles, you want to stop every so many mile. How many times will you stop? All right, I'm going to paste that in here. So you are walking 6 miles. We're going to replace the numbers. You want to stop every third of a mile. How many times will you stop? So as you see here, we are splitting up the walk into groups of 1/3. So our total goes first, which is 6. And then our group size is 1/3. So we are doing 6 divided by 1/3. When we have fractions and division, we need to show our keep, change, flip. Keep the 6 over 1. Remember, all whole numbers go over 1. Change to multiplication. And then flip the second fraction. 1/3 flipped over would be 3 over 1. All right, now let's multiply the tops. 6 times 3 is 18. Multiply the bottoms. 1 times 1 would be 1. 18 over 1 is simply 18 times. So you will stop 18 times. We know this because the total is 6 miles divided into 1/3 groups. 6 divided by 1/3, if you do keep, change, flip, is 6 over 1 times 3 over 1, which is 18 over 1. All right, let's move on to the next one. Create a story problem for 10 divided by 2/3. Then show or explain how to solve. So we still have here a whole number divided by a fraction. So let's choose from that category. All right, let's choose a different one. I'm going to paste it in here. Okay, our whole number. You have 10 cups of dog food. Your dog eats 2/3 of a cup each day. How many days will the food last? That is our problem. All right, first thing we need to do is identify our total and our group size. Our total is the 10 cups of dog food. Our groups are the 2/3 cup each day. We are splitting up 10 into groups of 2/3. So that means our division sentence will be 10 divided by 2/3. All right, we have 10 over 1 is our keep. Remember, we always keep, change, flip when we divide with fractions. Change to multiplication. And flip the second fraction. 2 over 3 becomes 3 over 2. All right, let's solve this out. 10 times 1 equals 10. Sorry, times 3 equals 30. And then 1, multiply your bottoms. 1 times 2 equals 2. So now we have 30 over 2. 30 divided by 2 is 15. So the food would last for 15 days. Because if you split up 10 cups into groups of 2/3, you would have 10 over 1 divided by 2/3, which is 10 over 1 times 3 over 2. And then that is 30 over 2, which is 15 days. All right, let's move on to problem 3. Create a story problem for 4/5 divided by 4. So as you can see here, we have a fraction divided by a whole number. So we need to consider that. So in our story group, we're going to select from the fraction divided by a whole number. I'm just going to select the first one here. We are cutting up pieces of yarn into equal pieces. Okay, so we first need to think about our total. Our total would be 4/5 because that's the thing that comes first. So you have 4/5 of a yard of yarn, of a foot of yarn, sorry. You want to cut the yarn into, how many groups are we making? 4 equal pieces. How long will each piece be? All right, so now we need to think about our total, which is 4/5. Our groups that we're making is 6. So we need to do 4/5 divided by 6. Now we need to do our keep, change, flip. And I'm also going to write this 6 over 1 because, again, whole numbers go over 1. 4/5 times, for our change and our flip, 6 over 1 would become 1 over 6. All right, and we're going to ignore the autofill here. 4 times 1 would give us 4. 5 times 6 would give us 20. Now this can be simplified because 4 and 20 have a common number that they can be divided by. That common number would be, you guessed it, it would be either 2 or 4. But if we use 2, we would have to do it again. But we can do that. 4/20 would be the same as 2/10 if I divide them both by 2. And then 2/10, if I divide them both by 2, would be 1/5. So each piece would be 1/5 of a foot. This is because you have 4/5 and then you're dividing it into 6 groups. Oh, sorry, it should have been 4 equal pieces. That's okay. You know what? We're just going to change this up here. That is my bad. Okay, so this should have been 1/4. I don't know where the 6 came from. Okay, there we go. Groups would be 4. There we go. Okay, so it's still the same though, because 5 times 4 would be 20, and so on. All right, ignore that mistake. All right, let's keep going. Create a story problem for 3/4 divided by 1/8. So we have a fraction divided by a fraction. So we're going to look into the fraction by a fraction stories. Let's do the second story. Again, we're cutting up rope again. All right, you have, and then our total is always the first number in the division sentence. So we have 3/4 foot of rope. And you need to cut the rope into pieces that are each 1/8 of a foot. How many pieces can you cut? So we have 3/4. And we are making groups of 1/8. So our division sentence is going to be 3/4 divided by 1/8. Now let's use our KCF. We are keeping 3/4 the same, changing to multiplication, flipping 1/8 becomes 8 over 1. All right. So now let's multiply our tops. 3 times 8 equals 24. On the bottom, 4 times 1 equals 4. And then we need to simplify. 24 divided by 4 would give us 6. So we could cut 6 pieces. This is because we're doing 3/4 divided by 1/8. If you keep 3/4, change to multiplication, and then flip to 8 over 1, you get 24 over 4, which is 6. All right, let's keep going. All right, create a story problem for 2.5 divided by 1/4. So we have a mixed number divided by a fraction. Let's look under mixed number by a fraction. I'm going to do the first story here. It's about chocolate chips and making pancakes. All right, you have, and then, so what's our total? 2.5 cups of chocolate chips. You need a 1/4 cup for each pancake. How many pancakes can you make? So we are splitting 2.5 into groups of 1/4. So our total is 2.5. Our groups are 1/4. Because we're splitting up the chocolate chips into each pancake equally. First thing we need to do, since we have an improper fraction, is we need to change that into a mixed number. And if you remember how to do that, you multiply the denominator and the whole number and add the numerator. So for 2.5, it would be 2 times 2, which is 4, plus 1, which is 5 over 2. All right, now we can do our keep, change, flip. 2.5 is 5 over 2. Change to multiplication. 1/4 becomes 4 over 1. All right, 5 times 4 is 20. 2 times 1 is 2. 20 over 2 is 10. So we could make 10 pancakes. This is because the 2.5 cups divided into 1/4 groups. That would become 5 over 2 times 4 over 1, which is 20 over 2, which is 10 pancakes. All right, let's keep going. Create a story for 3 1/3 divided by 1/9. So we have another mixed number by a fraction. So I'm going to choose from my mixed number by a fraction stories, but we're not going to do the last one. All right, let's do the other one. Cutting up rope again. That seems to be a common theme with our stories here. All right. You have 3 1/3 feet of rope. You need to cut the rope into pieces that are each 1/9 of a foot. How many pieces can you cut? So again, we have a total of 3 1/3. And then we have our groups of 1/9. All right, so first things, what we're going to do is change. So we have 3 1/3 divided by 1/9. First, change your 3 1/3 into an improper fraction. And that's how we're going to do that, is multiply the denominator times the whole. 3 times 3 is 9. Add 1. That gives you 10 over 3. Remember, you have to change any mixed numbers into improper fractions first. Setting up my keep, change, flip. 10 over 3 times 1/9 flipped over would be 9 over 1. And that would be 10 times 9 is 90. Now multiply the bottoms. 3 times 1 is 3. 90 over 3 gives us 30 pieces. All right, let's keep going. Again, 3 1/3 becomes 10 over 3. Divided by 1/9, so times 9 over 1. If you do your keep, change, flip, 90 over 3 gives you 30. All right, create a story for 4/5 divided by 1/10. So we have another fraction by a fraction. So let's go back up to those stories. All right, let's do cups of milk and making cookies. All right, we know our total is 4/5 cups of milk. Each batch of cookies needs 1/10 of a cup. How many batches can you make? All right, so we know our total is 4/5. Our groups is 1/10. So we have 4/5 divided by 1/10. Now let's do our keep, change, flip. Keep 4/5 the same. Change to multiplication. And then flip. 1/10 becomes 10 over 1. All right, look at the tops. 4 times 10 is 40. Now on the bottom, 5 times 1 gives you 5. 40 divided by 5 is 8. So it would be 8 batches. All right, let's keep going. Create a story for 4.5 divided by 9. So we have here a mixed number divided by a whole number. So let's go down to there. Mixed number by a whole number. All right, let's do splitting up burger. Hold on, I want to. All right, you are making burgers and you have, and as we can see in our division sentence, 4.5 pounds of beef, and you want to make 9 patties. How much beef is in each patty? All right, so we have 4.5, so our total is 4.5. That's how much beef we have. And then we have 9 patties. So we have 4.5 divided by 9. 4.5 as an improper, because remember, any mixed numbers we need to change to an improper fraction. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9 over 2. So now let's do our keep, change, flip. 9 over 2. Change to multiplication. And flip. 9 over 1 becomes 1/9. All right. Multiply the tops. 9 times 1 is 9. Multiply the bottoms. 2 times 9 is 18. And then we need to simplify that. 9 over 18 is equivalent to 1/2 because 9 is half of 18. All right, now I want you to answer these 3 reflection questions. What is the process when we're dividing? How do you know what value goes first? What do you need to remember when there's a whole number? What do you need to do with mixed numbers before you can divide? After that, you will be all done and you can add these points back onto your project. Thank you. Have a nice rest of your day.